Okay, so equation of a line. This episode we're just going to look at finding the gradient. I've got a few where we've got it just as coordinates, and then I do have an example when we are given a graph. So, to start off with, when given x1, y1, so our first x coordinate and our first y coordinate, and x2, y2, so our second x coordinate and our second y coordinate, you can find the equation by, and the formula is m equals y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So you do need to memorize this, so please, I highly recommend writing out every single time you do one of these questions. Even if you think you remember, just the more you do it, the more it will really ingrain into your brain. Okay, so with that in mind, here we have 2 points. We've got two questions, each with two coordinates. So the questions ask you to find the gradient of the line that connects the following 2 points. So again, I write out my formula, m equals y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. First thing I would do, I would actually label my coordinates so I know exactly where I'm substituting. So that's my first x coordinate, that's my first y coordinate, that's my second x coordinate, and that's my second y coordinate. So I now have 14 take away 8 all over 9 take away 5. So 14 take away 8 is going to give me 6. 9 take away 5 is 4. And then make sure you do simplify the fraction. Don't just stop there. So I can divide them both by 2 to give me 3 over 2. Okay, this next one, again, writing out my formula. So I've got m equals y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So that's my first x and y coordinates, and that's my second x and y coordinates. So I'm going to have 27 take away 24 all over 16 take away 10. 27 take away 24 is going to give me 3. 16 take away 10 is just going to be 6. And they both divide by 3, so that simplifies to 1 over 2. Okay, so our next one's again, writing out my formula, m equals y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So here's my first x and y's, and here's my second x and y's. Substituting that in, I've now got 2 minus 8 all over 18 minus 6. So 2 minus 8 is going to give me negative 6 on the top there, and then 18 take away 6 is going to be 12. Divide them both by 6, I'm going to have negative 1 over 2. Okay, next one, again, writing out my formula, y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. That's my x1, that's my y1, that's my x2, that's my y2. So I now have 5 minus 9 all over negative 6 take away 7. So I'm going to have negative 4 on the top. Negative 6 take away 7 is going to be negative 13. Now our numbers can't simplify, but I do have two negatives. Two negatives to make a positive, so that's now going to be 4 over 13. Okay, so this next one. So you could potentially be given a graph with no information, or they might be nice and have these numbers at the side here, but if not, I recommend firstly just filling in some numbers just so you can start creating your coordinates for this question. Oh, why did I go to 8 there? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so when you've got one of these lines, you want to try and look for where our line passes through a little crosshatch, like so. So you can see these little crosshatches with our graphs, and it just makes it way clearer where we have some coordinates, and you only need 2 of them. So I'm going to pick this one here. So that is 2, 3, because remember you read along first, then up. And I'm going to just pick this one here, which is 6, 5. So doing my formula, m equals y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. That's my first set. Here's my second set. And it doesn't actually matter what way around it is. I could do it the other way. That is totally fine. Just make sure if you do have double negatives, you turn them into positives, that's all. So then I'm going to have 5 minus 3 all over 6 minus 2. So that will be 2 over 4, which is just going to be a half. And that's it for my equation line. The only thing that I might just say quickly is if you have 2 things like this, I'm going to do minus 2, 3, and let's do 8, 9. So following through with the question, when you do your substitution, so I've got my 9 minus 3. Now this part here, I'm going to have that 8, but I must make sure when I substitute that -2, I do include a negative. And I recommend brackets purely because it makes it really obvious when we have these 2 negatives directly next to each other. So that will come 6 over, now we'll turn into 8 plus 2, which will be 10. And then I can simplify that to 3 over 5. So that is all for our gradient. In the next video, I will be looking at how to actually find the equation of a line.